guys, you already know this is your boy Dance God Lloyd, and you are listening to the Science Digest show on ỌDADEƐ Radio Vibes. Click on the like button, subscribe, and share. Let's go.
Hello, my name is Elsie Kaufman, and I'm here to support the Science Digest show on YouTube. They have a lot of interviews, interesting things going on. Please watch it. Thank you.
For more updates on science, technology, and innovation, why don't you go onto YouTube and watch the Science Digest show? It's the best show on YouTube.
Hi there. So to all my lovely people who love science and anything science, well, the Science Digest show has got you sorted to kindly hop onto their YouTube channel, subscribe, and let's learn anything and everything science. Science Digest show, demystifying science.
My name is Dr. Yabidi, Research Fellow at the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens at the University of Ghana. The Science Digest show is an informative program that explores issues of scientific relevance in Ghana. So I encourage everybody to watch it for up-to-date information and updates on any area of science as it applies, as it's relevant to Ghana.
I'm a medical doctor. I encourage you to watch Science Digest on YouTube. Let us demystify science. Thank you.
My name is Professor Gordon Awandare. I'm the Pro Vice Chancellor for Academic and Student Affairs at the University of Ghana and the founding director of WACBIP, West Africa Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens. I love the Science Digest show. Keep watching and supporting the show. You can follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Salasi, second SMQ 2019, and one of the first beneficiaries of the Science Digest show. I'd like to recommend the Science Digest show for everyone because it's one of the only educative shows that's entertaining at the same time. It's very, very captivating and teaches you a lot. Very, very good for high school kids and even like students above high school level. Thank you.
Hey guys, you already know this is your boy Dance God Lloyd, and this is the Science Digest show. We did demystify the science. You know the vibes are there inside. Boy, break up. Still no break up. Only God. Yeah, I know that. I know that. I know that. I know no. That's right. Highly spiritual. Welcome to the Science Digest show. Science Digest show, proudly brought to you live on ỌDADEƐ Radio today, and we are proudly powered by SMC Consult, So Much for Christ. We are also sponsored by EPP Book Services, located on the second floor of the high-rise building opposite the Legon main entrance. Today we have an interesting topic, and before then, I would like to introduce my co-host in the person of...
So I'm Dr. Kwabena J.S. Asante, and I'm going to be the co-host for today.
You're welcome. On the show today, our topic is building the Silicon Valley of Africa. And we have an interesting group headed by one great scientist in the tech and other interesting areas he will tell us about. His name is Joshua Opoku Ajiman. Welcome, Joshua.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, Joshua, you tell us a brief about yourself and why you find yourself here today. Sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here. And thank you for the invite to join this session. My name is Joshua Opoku Ajiman. As has been said, I'm the current president of the Ghana STEM Network. This is a network of professionals in the area of STEM, and our goal is to accelerate Ghana's transition to more practical and sustainable education. I'm also the president of the IIT Network Hub Africa, an organization we co-founded in 2016 with the goal to explore emerging technologies and then use them to solve problems facing Africa.
Okay, interesting. So these technologies and stuff that you are doing, can you tell us much about it?
Okay. But I think if you look at what is happening in the world today, you realize that a lot is changing since the birth of the internet, computers, and the smartphone. We set up a revolution. We could go back in the 70s where we moved from what we call the agrarian age to the industrial revolution. This was an era where the only jobs at the moment were hunting and agriculture. So scientists discovered the steam engine at the time.
Okay.
And the steam engine started what we call the industrial revolution at the time. So it gave birth to the railway industry, the shipping, the port industry, and all the metal industry or steel industry at the time. And from then we have the oil and then the automobile. So when oil was discovered too, now we have to shift from economy driven by steam to economy driven by oil and automobile. And that was what gave birth to the second industrial revolution. From there we have what we call the third industrial revolution, which was also driven by innovation or inventions such as the computers, the internet, and the smartphone. That is also known as the information age. The age we have as Africa living in today. It's an era where the world also moved from what we call the blue collar job to white collar job. So the use of computers become a necessity for every businesses. And then we started having programs such as the computer science and ICT related programs in school so that it could prepare students for that future. Today we're looking at the future where our world is being transformed or driven by what we call emerging technologies. And this has given birth to what we call the fourth industrial revolution. So the fourth industrial revolution, we've seen a breadth of boundaries between the digital world, physical world, and the biological world. And the technologies that are driving this revolution are the AI, that's artificial intelligence. We have the robotics, we have 3D printers, we have the Internet of Things technology, we have a lot of them, the quantum computing, the genetic engineering, and all that. So all these emerging technologies is what is driving the current revolution that we're living in. And one thing we should always pay attention to is that anytime there's a revolution, there's a change in society, change in everything, the way we live, our economy, jobs, everything changes. And we can see a lot of changes happen now with the likes of ChatGPT making generative information very easily accessible, and the likes of AI in automobiles, like the driverless car, electric cars. These are a lot of things that we're going to be seeing in our next decade. And this is what the fourth industrial revolution is all about.
Interesting. So you are trying to tell us here today that the human world is going to undergo a lot of changes.
Well, to be honest, human being or humanity has always been going to evolution. So this is going to be an evolution we've never seen before, because we also have the likes of technology such as longevity, being able to, if I should say, buy some extra lifespan to human life. So we're able to live longer than we used to do now. We have anti-aging technologies too as well. And we also see the interface between the human brain and computers. That's the brain interface technologies and brain implants. All these are technologies that are coming out to enhance the human capabilities to be able to do more.
Interesting. I don't know whether I should chip in this because you are talking about brain capabilities and all of that. I saw an article yesterday, I think I'll share it with you, where they are trying, is it one Russian company or something? They're trying to regrow the tooth of an individual using some form of composite material or something like that. Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the medical field. There are technologies like 3D printers in the medical space that allow scientists to be able to print lungs, livers, hearts, even bones and all that. So I won't be surprised if
something like that is able to happen with this.
And as you can see, with the human teeth, you have a lifespan. After some period, it becomes very weak. And most of them replaced with artificial, right? So being able to grow organic teeth that can be used to is also a better way to go than the metal we put on our flesh. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Though the other materials they use sometimes, sure. So I realize you are into a lot now.
Yeah, the journey has been quite well. So we've been operating for the past 7 years now.
Okay.
As IoT Network Hub, and I personally have been in the tech ecosystem for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
My passion for technology started at a very young age, probably in the primary school. So my obsession is technology innovation, and I'm happy with what is happening in the world today because one thing I realized that now the power to change the world has become democratized. Also, it's easy because with access to a smartphone, you have access to all the world knowledge in your palm.
Okay.
The question is, what are you going to do with it?
With it.
Free knowledge, right? You can literally learn anything today for free. That means that your ability to innovate, to invent, to build is so cheaper than it was some years ago. So I think these are all the benefits I think the 21st century youths and students are going to enjoy.
Great. I'll just chip in something small, then my co-host Doc will come in. Right. So I think you double as the STEM network president. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so last year I took up the position for the Ghana STEM network, and with the Ghana STEM network, our vision is basically be able to drive STEM education in the country. We've seen the need for STEM education. Now, if you look at our current statistics, every year we have about 120,000 graduates from the tertiary institutions.
Great.
After serving their national services, they come out. And when they come out, only 20% get jobs. So we have about 80%, that's roughly around 100,000 students who graduate from tertiary and are unable to find work. But then if you look at the future of work too, you realize that there's a lot of work. There's a lot of demand for jobs. However, these jobs are skills that our graduates don't have. So there's been a need to really look at the future of work and align our education to the industry, because the industry is changing really fast, faster than the education system can catch up. And the pace at which technology is changing things is really, really fast. Now let's take a scenario. If you should spend 4 years in tertiary to acquire skills so that you can be employable, by the time we are done with 4 years, we'll be living in a different world. Looking at the pace at which technology is changing things. Now, it now put a question to how do we ensure that we can prepare the younger ones coming. Let's go to the primary school today. They have probably about 10 years before they get to the industry. Now the question is, are all the things you're learning in the primary school, JHS to senior high school, preparing them for 10 years into the future? That's a very big question. So that's why the Ghana State Network, we exist. We are a network of professionals. In our network we have policymakers, educators, scientists, engineers, all coming together to drive the adoption of STEM education in the country.
Great. Dr. Asante, over to you.
Yeah, Joshua, I would want to congratulate you once again and also thank you for the very impactful work you are doing so far as technological advancement and STEM education is concerned. I think there's something very huge, and I am particularly very happy to know about your successes and how you came up with all this. And I believe from the little I know, I believe you started very active work somewhere around the COVID time. I'm not so sure, but if you could please summarize how it all started for us, for people listening, so that they also draw some inspiration from that.
All right, thank you so much for bringing this up. There's a lot to share, and I don't know if you'll be able to cover everything. So it's good you brought me back to where we all started from. I think I will start with myself. I was born in our village in Mim, and I stayed in a village called Kasape, and that's where I grew up. I have my basic and junior high school education. Growing up in my village, there was no electricity, but my church had a computer that they used for church service. So that's where I first have an encounter with a computer, and I felt this was interesting. So I dedicated my life pursuing computing for a very young age. I went to Mem Senior High School in the region as well. I studied science. All my time in school, I spent 4 years in school at the time. I was always pursuing computers instead of probably doing a lot of the physics, biology, and chemistry. So that obsession I had brought me to Accra after my graduation. I moved to Accra as a high school graduate, and then I studied software engineering for 9 months from the Kofiana ICT Center. So the skills that I had, I could build an app at the time, I could build a website, I could design a database and all that. So I started my first company called Personate at the age of 19. So this company that I started my entrepreneurial journey, I wanted to learn to build a software company. I had a partner, then we started small and we started growing from there. In 2016, I came across a technology called IoT, which stands for Internet of Things, at a conference hosted at the Kofiana Center called Innovation Week. So it was a conference that I saw the facilitator demonstrate some little application of IoT. He programmed some hardware, we sparked some matches on a piece of paper. The smoke was able to, the sensor was able to pick up the smoke data and projected it on the screen. To me, that was magical, to be able to collect environmental data and project on the screen. So it sparked an interest to look more into what the technology was at the time. So we started in 2016, and every month we organize what we call the IT meetup. So every month we organize this meetup, bring people together. They will all start learning together. I didn't have an engineering background. I was just a high school graduate with 9 months experience of software engineering. But the interest to go into hardware was very fascinating. So before COVID, we have learned how to build some prototypes. So our first project was a smart home, technology that allows you to control your home with your phone. So wherever you are, when it's evening or it's night, you can pick your phone, an app on it, tap on the button, and light at home, miles away will go off. That was the first project we started. So when we were able to achieve that, we saw the possibilities of the IoT. Now along the journey, we discovered that IoT doesn't work alone. IoT basically collects data through sensors and transmit this data to the server. Now when the data gets to the server, you need to be able to use what we call the machine learning models to be able to analyze the data, interpret it, and make meaningful use out of it. So that also brought us to now bringing on board all the other technologies like the robotics, because after IoT we saw we could build our own robots from scratch, and we built a number of them. After IoT we realized, we need to design our own packaging, our products. So we also went into 3D printing, where we have 3D printers, we design our own models of our packages and then print them here in Ghana. And I have some objects here that were all designed 3D printed.
Wow.
Right. So from there we saw that we are even dealing with a bigger revolution that we imagined. Initially we thought it was IoT. Now I realized no, it's not just about IoT. Because when you put IoT into the wheels, you have the driverless car. You put IoT into the wings, you have drones. So the application of IoT was endless, and you could see that today everything around us, it's really connected to the internet and you can control it. Now, fast forward. 2020 presented an opportunity for us. Before 2020, we have built our community around 20 African countries at the time. So our activities were run in 20 African countries, and in Ghana, we were running in all African regions. We have our local chapters. We started as a community approach. So we created communities, we inspired people to pursue the same common goal. And when COVID came, it was a challenge for us. Our programs were all social programs, and we had to put them on hold and didn't know when we were going to resume. So we thought, or maybe if we can't be physically, we could do something virtually. So we started a research and development project to look for intervention to help fight COVID-19. And through our research work, we came with a number of innovations that received global recognition. So one of the projects we did during our time was to build a ventilator. At the time, our nation was running out of ventilators because we didn't have enough. So we started building one. We also looked into building touchless washing bucket. We saw the rise of the Veronica bucket everywhere. Yeah, but one thing we noticed was that if you want to wash your hand, you have to touch the tap, you open it, you wash it. After the hands is washed and clean, you touch it back again to close it. And that could also be a medium where the virus could have spread. And this was also open to the public everywhere there was the bucket. So we came up with one with sensors installed in them. And when you put your hands beneath it, it sends your hands, the water flow, you wash, and then it ceases. We also came up with a face shield back in 2020 March. We were the first in the country to design a face shield before we started importing some from China. All these that we were doing at the time, it was a learning process to understand what we could do with these technologies that we have. Fast forward, all this innovation we built, we got recognition from the United Nations magazine. They have a magazine called the African Influencers for Development. we were featured in the top 50 innovators from Africa fighting COVID-19. In 2021, we got featured by Forbes magazine, and they have a magazine that featured 100 icons, inventors, and innovations from Africa. In 2022, we got an interview with the BBC, and in 2022 too, we got some support from government. So these are some things that we have been able to accomplish. We signed some partnership with the CSIR under the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. We also have a partnership with AITI under the Ministry of Communication and Digitization. And our goal with all this partnership and collaboration is to drive innovation and technology in the country. I think in a nutshell, this is what is happening now. Now we can also look at our plans for the future ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. So even before we come to the impact you are making, I still want us to focus a little bit on you yourself. I mean your personality, and I want to ask you. I know some websites like TechAid describe you as a tech prodigy. How do you feel as someone who is so into tech and would want to see a revolution with tech here in Ghana? Do you feel pressurized to, be doing things? Do you feel accepted in the community? Do you think that the country as a whole is receptive towards ventures geared towards improving our technology here in Ghana?
Well, I think we have a challenge. The reason being that these technologies that we are pursuing, they are now emerging. So it means that it's not adopted yet in our part of the world or on the continent at the moment. If you could bear witness with me, I think as a nation we are looking at digitization, right? And this was a revolution that happened about 30, 40 years ago. But we are now digitizing all our processes. Because if we don't digitize, then we can move on to the next frontier, like AI. AI need data, and if our data is still in books, there's no way we can build AI system for the nation. So I think it's a process that we're going through. When we started, it was quite difficult because this technology was difficult to explain to the average Ghanaian. Like tell them you can control your phone, your house with your phone. It sounds like you're crazy. But as we start building demonstration for people to see, for them to try it themselves, they begin to embrace it. Now, when it comes to acceptance, this journey has been quite a lonely journey for some time. But then I think it's also the reason why we do what we do, because we know that this area is new and there's not much people in it. Even our universities, you can get to learn robotics and AI as a program, apart from I think 2 universities in Ghana. Ashashi does masters in robotics and academic does first degree in AI, and this was just recently. Think of this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and today if you look at all the jobs demand, in this area, and they are paying like $4,000, $5,000 a month, right, for these skills entirely. So, the journey hasn't been easy. It was tough, and even running the community, it was all sacrificial because we believe that this is where the future is going, and these are the technologies that are going to drive the future. We can either lead this revolution or watch it happen. Either way, it's going to happen. What we didn't want to see is that if you look at the 20th century, we have our cocoa exported, raw cocoa exported, oil exported, gold exported, all raw materials are exported. In the 21st century, we are not looking at natural resources. We are looking at human capital development, like human talents is one. We are looking at data, that's information, that's 2. These are the most vulnerable resources in the 21st century. Now, if we don't start building capacity in this emerging space, then the only place our people can get is to go outside and learn them. And when they go, they won't come back. If we don't start digitizing our processes and build local solutions like technologies to collect our data, then what will happen is that we'll start importing all the gadgets again here, and then we'll take away all our data, which is our raw resources of the 21st century, and then when they process it, we'll not be able to afford them, just like we can afford chocolate and Milo every morning. So that's the same analogy we see with the 21st century, that if the young generation do not see the possibilities of this history repeating itself, then we might still end up with the oil, gold, cocoa, gold situation we are facing with the 21st century. So this is our vision and that's our cause, and I don't think nothing can stop us. We managed to build over 50,000 membership across 20 African countries, pursuing the same agenda, and our goal by 2050, which is 27 years from now, is to be able to impact 1 billion young Africans. Why 1 billion young Africans? Why 2050? Because if you look at predictions that have been made on Africa, Africa is going to be the largest and fastest growing continent. By 2050, we're going to have 2.4 billion people on the continent, the largest in the world, and more than 50% of these 2.4 billion are going to be youth under 25 years. And if we have a workforce that under 25 years with no skills, then we literally doomed. And we don't want that to happen. So that's why we do what we do, and that's why we're fighting this cause.
Great. Dr. Asante, any more, please?
Wow. Great. If you all right. So I think I would want to ask maybe 2 more questions.
Okay.
And so if you just joined us, this is a Science Digest show, and I'm co-hosting today with my brother, Dr. Solomon Frimpong Bediako. So Joshua, I want to ask about the impact on the lives of people. You would agree with me that here in Ghana, I mean, if a student or if a young student is in JHS or early SHS, I mean, they've started thinking about what they want to do in future. Most people develop passion for, let's say, technology, medicine, law, whatever they would want to do in future. They usually develop passion for it in those stages. How are these people targeted? How are these young people targeted? People in JHS, SHS, what are the opportunities in there for them? How are they identified, and how are they put on board so far as this particular project is concerned?
All right. So when we started from the top-bottom approach. We realized that what we do, the basic requirement was a laptop, and then we look at the group of youths we have, and we realize tertiary students are likely to have access to a laptop. So 6 years ago when we started with them. And then growing up, our work and impact, we realized that anytime we engage with a high school, primary school, they intend to be really quick at picking up the training and programs that we do because they are excited about it, they're curious, they want to learn more. But one thing we also realized with the tertiary is that at that level, they are thinking about jobs. So whatever they do should give them employment, daily employment. If it's not giving them a job, they're not really interested. But in the field too, you can't just jump into a job without not having a skill, and building a skill takes time. So we came up with what we call the STEM kits. Through our years of training programs that we run, we came up with this kit. It's a STEM kit that inspired a lot for STEM, and this was designed here in Ghana. The goal with the STEM kit is to be able to empower every young Ghanaian right from primary school to develop their passion for STEM. And again, you might ask, what's STEM? Because if you look at the future of work, about 70 to 80% of all the jobs of the future are in the area of STEM. It means that most of the jobs we see today are going to be automated. And again, that brings us to creating awareness in the primary schools and junior high schools and senior high schools about the future of work, letting you know that some professions that they are looking at in the next 10 years, they might not be in existence. How do we get them to, or inspire them to change career? Because a lot of jobs, if you look at the top 10 jobs that are running now, accounting job will be automated, law job will be, a lot of jobs that do not require a lot of thinking, a lot of collaboration, a lot of creativity, are all going to be automated by AI and robotics. So yes, there's a very challenging issue when it comes to career guidance and career choice in the area of these emerging technologies. So we work with a lot of partners. We work with GS, we work with the Ministry of Communication, we work with other foundations such as the Vodafone Ghana Foundations, among other organizations as well, to drive the adoption of STEM education in Ghana. That's also the more reason why I volunteered to lead the Ghana STEM network, because I believe that collectively, if we work together, we're able to impact a number of people or young people in Ghana and the continent. One project that we've done that is really doing a lot in inspiring young people in STEM is the Yamransa model project or Yamransa project. You mentioned TechAid earlier. They are one of our partners we work with on the Yamransa project. The project seeks to build a maker space in all the 16 regions of Ghana. And currently working with them, we have 12 labs built in 12 regions. And every year, all these students come to Accra to challenge or compete on the best innovation. And if you see what primary school students in a public school are doing, the kind of innovation they are building, you'll be blown. And this is just a 4-year project we started with them. So imagine if every school in Ghana have a STEM lab from primary to senior high. The possibilities are endless, right? So I think it's a long way to go, but then we need to collaborate, both the private sector, the government sector, and then the civil society, all coming together that to pursue the common goal that this is where the future is going, and things are not moving fast enough as we expect. How do we all come together to ensure that we can get things running? Then I think we can get things going. I know the government is doing quite some work in the area of STEM with the new STEM direction, the STEM policies and curriculum, with the STEM senior high schools that we have. These are all initiatives or interventions to drive STEM, but government doesn't really move fast as usual. So I think private sectors should find a way. We're also working together to find a way to ensure that we all play our parts to ensure that our nation and the youth can be prepared for the future. There's still a big challenge.
Great.
I think Perspective has been doing quite a lot when it comes to the area of STEM, from robotics to science and math schools and everything. Yeah.
I think other schools too are also doing.
Great.
Dr. Santi, any more? I think you had another one to add.
Yes. So, I mean, before I hand over to Dr. Bediako Frimpong, I think we can't have a conversation about STEM and technology without talking about AI. And people argue that the advent of AI may be very detrimental to our future. Why do they say so? They say so because it's like, since AI started working in our system, started working actively in our systems, we realized that most people would want AI to do a whole lot of stuff for them. And you would agree with me that things like OpenAI's ChatGTP can even provide you with codes for designing certain softwares. I mean, if we look at how AI is fast growing, we can presume that in the near future, most of the things we do as human beings may be able to, AI may be able to do all those things. What do you think about this notion? What do you think about AI taking over everything, AI making people lazy, and AI posing a threat to our future?
Right. So I think all your points are right. There are all this conversation going on. There was even a global cult for AI development this couple of months ago. So yes, AI is here. We're all using it. And yes, it's automating a lot of work, making some work redundant and displacing some jobs, and it's doing all that. But I think mostly when people get scared about AI, it's none of this. They are looking at what we call the super artificial intelligence, the general super artificial intelligence. This is what we see in the movies, like the likes of Terminators and all that. So there's a technology called singularity, where AI will take over humanity. And that's what scares most people. Because yes, we don't know how far AI can go. We don't fully understand the possibilities of AI and the extreme they can go and all that. And then we're also looking at not just the danger of AI, but putting a powerful tool or weapon in the hands of, in quotes, bad people, right? So let's say terrorists get access to AI system. They don't have to move an inch to cause all the destruction they might have to do, but they can be able to sit anywhere and still get things done. So these are some of the ethical concerns that people are really raising when it comes to security and AI. If somebody hack into your grid, your power grid, and install some AI system on it, can shut it down and all that. So yes, there are dangers in it when not properly built, and there are also dangers in it when it's also handed to the wrong people. I agree with you. So I think, again, every nation is trying to work around how they can regulate the development of AI. And as a nation too, Ghana and the continent, we need to also look at our local regulations towards AI development. There's a Ghana Digital Economy Policy, and then there's a MESTI STI policy, and they are looking at addressing some of these concerns when it comes to all these emerging technologies and how we can adopt them and be able to build ethical technology solutions to help our nation.
Great one there. Thank you, Dr. Asante. We have a group called the Ghana Artists Club. Ghana Artists Club is a body that is trying to provide up-and-coming artists, musicians, and creators a platform to succeed and then push harder with their talents and creative skills. So you can contact Ghana Artists Club on all social media platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter. And then also you can contact ỌDADEƐ Jacob Tete on the number +1 716 650 4355. That is +1 716 650 4355. We are live on ỌDADEƐ Radio, and ỌDADEƐ Radio can be found on these platforms. Online, you can find ỌDADEƐ Radio on Zeno FM radio app. That is Zeno FM /ỌDADEƐ Radio. You can also find ỌDADEƐ Radio on Facebook on ỌDADEƐ Radio and ỌDADEƐ Radio Ghana. On Instagram, you can find them on at ỌDADEƐ Radio, and also on Twitter at ỌDADEƐ Radio. On WhatsApp, SMS 02000 92925 02000 92925. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
So the world around us, interestingly, has changed a lot, and thanks to technology, and that's why I'm excited, and I would want to recommend to you to watch Science Digest show. This is a show that demystifies science and makes our children and everybody as excited about technology and the science around us. And I believe that that is what will make our world a better place for all of us. Keep watching, and I wish you all the best.
My name is Sohiniba Kosiachewa, your Miss Agriculture Ghana. And keep watching Science Digest Show. Keep watching Science Digest Show. This is where you get up-to-date information on everything happening in the agribusiness sector. You know, right? That is where the money is. There is gold in the soil. Science Digest Show is the best. Subscribe and get all the info. We love you. Hooah.
This is the Science Digest Show live on ỌDADEƐ Radio. Science Digest Show, Science Digest Show, demystifying science. Today has been an interesting time, and I think we have more fun coming up. And this time around, it's basically because our guest here wants to prove to us that he's building the Silicon Valley of Africa. So Joshua, what do you have for Dr. Santi and myself today?
Yeah, so we came up with an educational tool that we believe that if when given the opportunity to every student, they could join the revolution. If you look at the story of Silicon Valley, it started with a few people like HP and Intel. They started earlier building their company, and then others started joining, and it became a revolution. Now, if you're looking at one of the most innovative community, you always talk about the Silicon Valley. China has taken over now. Now China, Shanghai is becoming the Silicon Valley of the world. I also believe that in the years to come, it's going to change, and Africa will need to be ready. So as part of our vision, the long-term goal, we want to see Africa becoming the Silicon Valley, and then we have to start building that. You have to be intentional. So we started experimenting with all these new technologies because they also have the power to help us or enable us to be able to transform our continent. So over here, you can see some 3D printed packages. So these were all designed and printed here in Ghana.
Great.
So what it means is that manufacturing is changing. A time will come, everybody have a 3D printer at home. If you want to print a spoon, any plastic material that you need at a kitchen at home, you want to print pegs, you might not necessarily have to order from a factory for them to manufacture for you. You'll be able to print everything you need. If you have a part broken and need to replace it at home, you can literally print one and design one, print it and replace them. So that's how this technology is going to change even our home.
If I get you right, I'm trying to say we'll be printing this stuff.
Yes, everything plastic. Home. And you see the beauty of our 3D printing technology is it has now gone beyond plastics. Now you can print metal, you can print wood, fiber, print different kinds of materials. Even organic materials are being printed in a lab.
Wow.
Yes. So that technology, which is just one technology, is changing a lot. In the food industries, now we have lab-grown meats that are cultured in the labs. So we are going to be printing chicken, pork, any kind of meat you want, right?
And it's edible.
Yes, edible meat. These are all new technologies.
No side effects.
Yes. Well, they are new technologies. Research is being done. But one thing I have discovered over the past years is that any innovation or technology that get invented, we don't get to see the side effects now. Today we are fighting climate change. If you look at some of the causes of climate change, we talk about our houses, homes, apartment, we talk about automobile. But if you look at 100, 200 years ago, these were innovations, inventions for that era. Because they didn't have cars, they have horses. And they thought maybe cars was the best innovation for mobility. And yes, it was. But today we are saying these cars also had messed up with the environment. So lab cultured meat, according to the research that has been done, it's healthy. Reason being that now you can have personalized meat based on your allergies and all that. So you can have meat designed for you. The taste, the way you want it, the texture and all that.
Interesting.
We have egg that are also being produced from the lab. That takes exactly just like our natural eggs, right? So that's one of the technologies. From medical space, they are printing lungs, ribs, all that, bones and all that. Now, another one too is the AI, which we all know due to ChatGPT and Stability AI. So Stability AI has also open sourced their AI system. With Stability AI, you type in a text, it gives you an image. So any image you want, type in the text, describe the image, the AI will generate the image for you, right? And these are all AI technologies that are coming. And very soon we're going to have AI for everything. AI for food. If you're hungry, you can enter your parameters and then it will generate a recipe for you. Maybe your robot at home will cook for you, right? Then everything is sorted, right? So I will not go far. I have some demonstration that I would like to do. So we have the STEM aid kit here, and this kit you can build about 200 projects, experiments, STEM experiment with a kit. And if you open the kit, we have this board in there. So we call it the STEM aid love. The shape of a hat, and the reason why we shape it this way and we call it love is that we want to inspire the love for STEM for students. It was designed in Ghana. over there and assembled in Ghana. So again, we also want to start building local technologies to address local problems. Now I'm going to build simple circuits. I did science at school. I never built a circuit. I only draw one on board and on paper. I'm sure you did same. But now, thanks to technology, it's easier and cheaper to build circuit and even go beyond circuit. You can build so many projects. As this kit allows you to build about 200 of them. So I'm going to use my breadboard here, my jumper wires, my STEM-made board, and I will need an LED. So I have LEDs here.
Right.
Okay, so what we're basically going to look at, when you go to the room, your room, you press a button on the wall and the light comes on.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't really figured out what happened, but nobody cares as long as the light comes on. But if you want to understand the science behind how pressing the button on the wall turn on the light, it's a basic circuit. When you press the button, you close the circuit, and when the circuit closes, current flows through the circuit, and then the bulb has illumination, so it illuminates. Once the power goes through it, it illuminates it. The same way we are teaching a class 2, class 3 students the concept of electricity by building a circuit, then you also learn coding. It also allows you to program it. So I'm going to build a circuit, write a program to turn on the light, and this can be done in less than probably 2 minutes. It's not difficult. Maybe I've done this several times, but for the first time, it might take you not more than 5 minutes. So the red will be our positive wire. I'm connected to pin 7. The white will be a negative wire. I'm connecting it to ground.
So that's the love board you've connected.
That's the love board, the STEM-made love board. So my LED it has 2 legs. You have the positive and negative. The longer one is positive, the shorter one is negative. And I'm mounting on my breadboard. Now once I'm done, I connect it to my PC.
Okay. So the LED is light
emitting diode. That's right. I never saw one in school.
But you learned it.
That's right. So once you connect to the laptop, it's powered. Now there comes a code inside. This is the circuit, a basic circuit built.
Sure.
And I'm going to write a program here to turn on the light.
Right.
So we use a programming language called C++.
Okay, C++.
Yes, and it's the technology that this board is built on is the Arduino, an open source hardware. They have their own software that allows you to program it.
Okay.
So I am done with my program and I'm uploading it. It's simple code. You write only 2 lines of code.
Sure.
And then your light comes on. Right.
Oh.
So you could see the lights come on.
Interesting.
You can change and use a different LED color and it still gets your lights coming on as well. So this is a blue LED. So I have my blue LED also coming on. So it makes learning fun. Now when I teach this to 5-year, 6-year-old kid, and the first time they're able to do something for light to come on, they get curious. Now that's why I believe learning has to be. Learning has to be always discovering something new, so that the mind is always hungry to want to learn more. Yeah, I can go ahead and say, now I want the light to go off, and then adjust my program, and then the light to go off. Again, I can also decide to let the light come on and go off. So we usually use applications such as when cars on the traffic on the high street and they get to intersections to indicate whether they want to go left or right. What do? And then they will tell us, they turn on the navigator. And we tell them there's a program in the car that make that happen. Now we're going to teach you how to do the same. Then we go to our program from there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get a light to blink.
Okay. I was just about to ask whether I could give us a simulated disco light or...
Oh yeah, that too can be done. Great. The possibilities are endless.
So you're doing a traffic indicator sort of light right now?
Yes. So in our kit too, we have a traffic light model.
Awesome.
So if we want the students to build the same simulation we see on our streets, they have the model that allows them to also program their own traffic light. So we have 200 projects actually you can do with the kids, and we have a manual or guide that will take the students to do all that. And then programming is not difficult, like it's super simplified.
Awesome.
So if you have no knowledge in coding, you haven't coded before, as long as you can use a PC, you should be able to do all that.
Okay.
All right, so we have our lights coming on.
Okay,
You can change the frequency at which it comes on. You can say every second come and go, every minute, and they're all simple and can program.
So it's blinking like a traffic indicator
That's right.
in the car.
That's
or a
right.
moving vehicle.
Exactly. You could build an alarm system. We have a sound that can allows you to build an alarm system. And again, these are what we see in our parking. When the cars are having a reverse parking,
Okay.
it's able to detect obstacle and then it beep. If you don't put on the seat belts, there's a beeping alarm. These are all programs in the car. And we connect the learning to reality so that students can understand that, okay, so this thing that happened in this is how it's been done. Then we take you through the process, you do same. Then when you learn, you begin to appreciate what you're learning. Yeah. So that's the beauty of our kids. And we believe that if every student can have one to use in their learning, or schools can have them in the ICT labs to complement the computers. You get a lab, you get a kid to complement your computers, then students can do a lot beyond just Microsoft Word and Excel and all that, right? Yeah. So I can go ahead and do more if we have time.
Feel free.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to adjust my circuit to build an alarm system.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
So the same program that I built for the lights,
Great.
I use the same program to rewire my circuit for a buzzer.
Okay.
Now, this could be alarm system in a clock. It could be a smoke detector detecting smoke. It could be alarm system in the house. The applications are endless.
Great.
Now we can go ahead and do a number of things if there's time. But I think on this point, if there are questions so far, if not, maybe I can.
Interesting. I've just been blown off, and I'm admiring it more and more and more and more. Could you do the traffic lights for us?
Sure. We could work on that. Now, the reason why this is important, it might not necessarily have to do with the kind of project you're doing.
Okay.
But then how the processes is rewiring your brain for problem solving.
Great.
Because these are project oriented, problem oriented. So the student might feel like, oh, I'm building this project, I'm doing that and that. But unconsciously, it's rewiring their brain for problem solving. Now, when they build all these projects and they see problems, the first thing is, how do we solve this? Instead of saying, what do I do? They start to figure out how to solve it. Great. It also encourages collaboration. So this also puts students to work together in groups.
Okay, so that's some teamwork sort of.
Yes, that's right. I keep wondering, anytime students collaborate in the classroom, we call that cheating. Yes. Because you can't share ideas, you can't share answers, you can't discuss. That's cheating, right? So from primary to university, we've been trained to not collaborate because it's called cheating. But when you get employed, the first thing they tell you is you're going to work with ABC. That's collaboration. So we spend our life going to school with our eyes not teaching the true value of collaboration because we think it's cheating. Then when you come out of school, the industry expects you to work together because they don't expect you to work alone. Because in the industry, it's teamwork.
Okay, but maybe some educationists will argue we have group studies and practical-based learning and stuff like that.
Well, the more we move into practical learning, then we are embracing STEM. Okay. And that's the beauty of STEM. So in a learning setting where there's no practical, there's no group work, then there's no way we're encouraging collaboration and teamwork.
Okay. Dr. Asante, how do you find what's going on?
In fact, I don't know. I don't know. This is really interesting. This is really interesting.
Nice. You've also been blown off, I guess.
Exactly the point.
He's on with a traffic light now.
Yes, so we're going to build a traffic light. So I'm going to start with my wiring. I have 3 LEDs all in one. So
Okay.
I'm going to connect my red. And my green. My yellow.
Okay. Oh, so because the lights are 3, we'll need about 3
different
conductors or wires.
That's
Okay.
right. So I'm going to wire my red to pin 7. Then my green to pin 9. And go to 6. Then my negative goes to 10. So
Okay.
this is the circuit for a traffic light.
Okay.
Now, what is left is to write a program to sequentially turn them on and
Okay.
time it based on the duration you want. So we could say yellow will blink or
Okay.
green will come on first, and when
Okay.
green go off,
After 2 seconds.
yeah, then the red will come, yellow will blink before the green also come and all that.
Okay.
So we go to a program. Say I first want to test my red. Red is on 7, so I indicate 7.
You're saying the program is it's not difficult to learn?
Not at all.
Okay.
So now I test
Okay,
my
red
red.
is
Red
on
is
now.
on. Now I'm going to turn on yellow. So what I'm going to do now is to get all of them to come on.
Okay.
Then when I finish that, I can put a timer to which one should stay on for what time.
Sure.
You know that.
I think maybe after I can, you call it a breadboard, eh?
Yes,
You can
so
turn the breadboard the other way so that the lights can be seen well by
okay,
the
so
viewers.
the white is the breadboard that
Okay.
allows you to build your circuit. It's easier this way because ideally if I want to do this without a breadboard, I have to now solder and iron,
Okay.
and that's what makes engineering difficult.
Okay.
Because now I have to go and learn how to use a solder iron and learn to solder as the repairers usually do.
Okay.
But the breadboard save you from all that processes.
Okay. Why do you call it breadboard? Or you came
Oh.
to meet it?
The reason why I think they call it breadboard, you keep mounting stuff on it like bread
Oh, okay.
or the foam where you can mount pins on it.
Okay.
So and it's basically a plastic with a conductor at the base.
Okay.
So the conductor joins them together.
Okay.
So we are going to get
Yellow.
our yellow on.
Okay. Is yellow your favorite color because of your shirt?
Oh, okay. It's on the IoT colors. So we have a red T-shirt, white, blue, green, and
Okay.
red. Yeah. So
Okay.
today I decided to wear some bit of a yellow.
Yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yellow also represent gold, and we have a lot of them here in Ghana. So,
Oh, gold. Okay. Great.
so yellow is also on pin 6. So
So the things in Internet of Things
yeah.
means that you have limitless things you can build. Is that the meaning?
Okay. So Internet of Things. Yes. Now you have the internet. You have things. So things means living and non-living things.
Okay.
We're connecting all of them to the internet. And yes, things has already been started. Probably started with things, our laptops, our phones
Okay.
were the first device we connected to. Now today we're connecting human body. So you have the smartwatch.
Okay.
When you put a smartwatch on your hand, it's collecting your biodata like body temperature, the heartbeat, number of steps you walk in a day. All these are your biodata that the device collects,
Great.
and it's transferred them to the internet. Now we're looking at Internet of Everything, where everything you can imagine will be connected to the internet. So the chairs, our dresses, our shoes, our bags. There's even smart shoes.
Wow.
Nike is working on smart shoes. Everything is going to be connected to the internet, and that's also the IT revolution that is coming. Okay, so we have our yellow on. I'm going
Okay,
to turn
yellow
on
is
the
on.
green light on. Then we're going
Good to go.
put a timer in it.
Okay.
I was quite fortunate. I started learning coding at the age of 19.
Wow.
I wish it was earlier,
Earlier.
but at 19, I loved what you could do with just some program. You write a piece of text, and then you could see the impact of your code on physical objects. It makes it really exciting.
Great. Did you start with Notepad or
Yes.
straight to a
No,
program?
we started with Notepad, back in school because we were trained to start from the hardcore.
Okay.
Then once you understand
Makes
it,
sense.
then you can come and use the tools available to build faster.
Sure.
And this is 9. So we have a green on 9. Okay. Okay. So now we have the yellow, red, and green all
Okay,
on.
the green is on.
Yeah.
I think because of our white light here, the green
Yes.
is not fully.
It's a bit dark.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do next is to keep the red on for some time and turn it off.
Okay.
And whilst red is on, yellow will be off. Green. So this also brings in a lot of logics.
Okay.
Because now you have 3 different circuits all wired together. You have your program.
Okay.
Now the question becomes, how do you keep red on, keep yellow and green off? So when yellow comes on, red and green should be off. And that's where the critical thinking starts. And when you put this question to a group of students, now they start to think. And I think it's also the beauty about STEM education or the practical learning, because you're always going to have to figure something out. And that process you're going to think.
Sure.
So we keep. Okay. Okay. So red will come on and then
Okay. Red. Okay.
So I'm now on the red and yellow. So red will come on for 1 second and go off, and the yellow will come for 1 second and go. Now I'm going to also get a green to also come and go.
Great.
Now when we finish, you can work on the timing. If you want it to stay longer or shorter, you can adjust it. Okay. So we have red. This is what happened when it's around, I think 11 p.m. So you see all the 3 lights coming and going.
Okay.
Yeah. So with this, you can now look at the timing, which one you want it to stay on for what time, and it's all in the program. You just adjust it, and then you can get a traffic light. So we can say red should stay on for maybe 5 seconds.
Okay.
Before it goes off, and then when it goes off, yellow would blink like twice or just come and go, and then green will also stay on for 5 seconds. Okay, so red will stay on for 5 seconds.
Great.
3, 4, 5. Then it goes off. Then yellow will come and go. Then green will stay on for 5 seconds.
Okay.
And then it will go off. And the red will come back again.
Awesome.
Yeah. So this is just a simple simulation of it. You can adjust the time if you want it to stay longer and all that.
Great.
Yeah. And you, as I said, you can build over 200 projects.
Interesting.
We have a guide that will take you through all the processes. Yeah.
Wow. Dr. Sanzi, any questions, any comments? Hello, Doc.
I must say, honestly, I've been wowed. That's the word. I've been wowed by what I've seen today.
Great.
I've been wowed by what I've seen.
Laugh board, eh? Wow.
So our goal
I believe.
Yeah.
Dr. Sanzi can continue.
Yes, so I was saying I believe these are some of the startups or some of the projects the government should be looking at supporting. Because you'd agree with me that what has happened here, and Joshua has tried his possible best to explain it in layman terms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't have a background in tech or engineering or anything, but at least we've had that understanding.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that if for something like this, we are sat down and we are taught, this is something we should be able to do. And this is something we would be very interested in doing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we can ignite change by doing things like, I believe that these are projects or initiatives governments should be looking at supporting with funding and all that. I mean, Joshua hasn't talked about how they fund their stuff and all that yet. But then I believe that government support wouldn't be something bad. I mean, there is this tree adage that says that I mean, if even they have funding now, more funding wouldn't be something bad at all. So these are things we should be looking at. Because as Joshua has repeated several, tech is the future.
Yeah.
So if we know what the future is, then I mean, investing in it shouldn't be a step in the wrong direction at all.
Great.
So I think Joshua wants to say something more.
Thank you, Doctor, for the submission. So yes, we need a lot of funding because to get a kid into every schools in Ghana required a lot of investment that we might need. The board too is designed locally. It means that if we're able to get a kid to all schools in Ghana, we can likely create over 100,000 jobs, right? Both directly and indirectly, because we have to now build or train a team of young people who will be building the hardware locally here in Ghana, which we started. We're also looking at training because we need to also have STEM trainers. Now, our current training teachers don't have the STEM skills because Ghanaian or as a country, we don't have a STEM tool that we have accepted that this is a STEM tool to be used in schools. And based on that, we are training you on how to train students. So it's a very big ecosystem that we're looking at, from curriculum development to manufacturing of the kits to sales of the kits, trainers, and using the kit and all that. So we could create over 100,000 jobs if we get a investment needed to be able to scale up. If we're not just looking at just Ghana, we're looking at Africa as a whole, because as IoT Network Hub, we're currently running in 20 African countries. We intend to expand to the 54 by 2025, which means that we are going to push our STEM kit to all these African countries as well. So it's a bigger market with bigger potential for the nation as well, economic growth, job creations, and revenue as well. So yes, we will be happy to get all the support we can get, both from private sector, individual governments, anybody who believes in the future and want to move with that. We'll be happy to work with them.
Great. Is there any other thing you want to demonstrate to us?
Okay. Hey, Google.
Okay, you can comment about it.
So we have I'm sure we all heard of the ChatGTP. If you have an ChatGTP is a chatbot or super chatbot that can generate information for you from articles, summaries, anything you literally want to type from your head. As long as you can give it a clue, it can be able to generate for you.
Okay.
So this is a Google device that has been developed years back before ChatGTP came, and this uses voice. So think of this as a voice for ChatGTP. So ChatGTP, you type text, it gives you the information in text. With Google Assistant, you speak a word, then it gives you the information also in audio. Right. Hey Google, how do you do?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Okay. Hey Google, how do you do?
I'm great, thanks. I've just discovered I can give out superpowers. If you want one, ask me to give you a superpower.
Thank you.
I'm honored to serve.
Right. So imagine we have this device in our classroom. Kids are curious. They have so many questions. And again, one thing about traditional education, the more students start asking questions, the more teachers start to shut them down. And the more we keep doing that, we're shutting down their curiosity.
Yeah.
Now you do that over and over again, and it reinforces their learning. And when the brain adapts to not asking questions, what happens? They become timid. Whatever you ask, no answer, no question. Right. So some of these technologies, again, well, they are not sentiment to teachers saying you are irritating me or you're asking too much questions. And they're even excited to receive more questions from you, because the more you engage with the device, the better it understands your accent and the kind of information you need, and then the faster it's able to deliver to you, just like ChatGPT.
Okay.
The more you engage, it's able to learn from a previous conversation, and based on that, be able to attend to you very well. So I see that if you look at education of the future, I like to go beyond STEM, maybe STEAM, or if you want to go deeper into the future, you can look at STEM-made education.
Exactly.
And our STEM-made education, you look at science, technology, engineering, mathematics, plus arts, innovation, design, and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Why all this addition? Now, you want to train a student in such a way that when they come out of school, they can either become a good employee or employer.
Okay.
And that had to be a holistic education. It doesn't have to be industry specific.
Right.
It doesn't have to be trained to be entrepreneur to build a business.
Okay.
But once you have a holistic education that have interdisciplinary form of learning where you can combine all these dynamics, then when you come out, you're able to work. I haven't, in quotes, been trained to be an engineer, but then because of my exposure and then the kind of things I've been able to learn, I can work in any industry. I can start a startup in any industry. I don't need to be trained to be in agric or healthcare to be able to work in there. And I think in the future, this is what we're going to need, because if you look at the emerging technologies, they are not industry specific.
Okay.
There's AI in agric, AI in healthcare, AI everywhere.
Yeah.
IoT is applied everywhere. It means that all these emerging technologies, they are not really designed for specific industry. They cut across all industry and they are disrupting all industries. So I think if we can give students today the 21st century skills and then the right mindset, then we can go a long way to create a future where Africa become the paradise it's meant to be.
Interesting.
Because if you look at history, Africa has always been the paradise. But for some reason, we are losing our heritage. And I'd say we should go back for it. And Sankofa.
Interesting. That's why you're building the Silicon Valley.
That's why we believe that if we build an environment, so think of the Silicon Valley as an environment, a community. Africans, we thrive based on community.
Yeah.
When you go to the villages, everything's about community. If we can build a digital community where everybody who is passionate about technology, about change, can find themselves with like-mindedness, pursue the common goal of finding solutions to African problems, then we can end up building that ecosystem that is producing more innovative startups. Mind you, we need to build AI companies, IoT companies, robotics companies, because in the next 20, 30 years to come, if we don't, where are we going to work? That's a problem. So that's why there's a need to start building that movement or revolution where now we have people who are acquiring these new skills and are building new industries so that when the old ones are going, the new ones can take over and absorb all the workforces that we may need. So hence the reason why we always say we are building the Silicon Valley of Africa. All right.
Great. So we'll be wrapping up shortly, but I think I have a few comments to pass before Dr. Santi comes in with his conclusion and final comments.
Right.
It's been a great time with you. I want you to comment on the blue item there.
Oh.
And then you comment on how all of what you are doing is helping environment, agriculture for me, and then maybe healthcare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you probably should touch it.
Okay.
So it's a 3D printed toy.
Okay.
Again, so what it means is that very soon parents can print their own toys for their own kids.
Awesome.
Yeah, so again, that's a possibility of the 3D printer. This was 3D printed from our lab.
Okay.
It's just a basic toy that was designed and printed. The toy has legs and hands.
How long did it take duration to print?
This is a bit complex. So complex designs can take from an hour to 3, depending on the size of it.
It didn't cross a day?
No, not a day.
Wow. Interesting.
All right. These are all experiments. We are experimenting with our 3D printers.
Okay.
We were trying to look at what we can do with the technology. We had people coming to us that they've seen something they want, but they need something tangible to show to people that this is the thing they want. A prototype.
Like a prototype.
Yes.
Okay.
And 3D printer, you can pick the design, model them, and then print some objects that they can be able to show to people that this is something I'm looking at. It might not be plastic, but they can tell that this is the shape, the design, the style.
Okay.
But however, it's going to be made in a glass or metal.
Okay.
And these are some of the things that we have identified and start using with the 3D printers.
Wow. Yeah. So I dare say during COVID, it was possible for you to have printed a face mask.
We did printed a lot of face masks. We printed face shield, the frames and all that. And then the temperature thermometer held gun.
Really?
Yeah, we did with our partnerships. We developed a number of them, working with Ghana Tech Lab, and we distributed some of them to the ministries at the time. Wow. So yes, we're still now getting to understand the potential of these technologies. Okay. For 7 years now, we've learned a lot. Now what we are going to do going forward is to start building companies one at a time. Okay. So we're looking at building the AI companies, the IoT companies, the robotics company, so that we can have a wide range of companies focused on different technologies for different sectors. Okay. Now let's take healthcare for example. Now the doctor to patient ratio is very wide. Okay. It means we probably have one doctor serving maybe 100 or more patients on the ratio. Okay. With technology, we can break the barrier and bridge the gap. When it comes to scans, X-ray scans, MRI scan, all the scans that we do at the hospital, humans have to manually go through them one at a time to look for anomalies in them. Okay. And it's a very tedious process. Imagine we have 1,000 scans, 500 scans in a day, and we don't have enough radiologists to be able to go through all that. And that's a big problem because they need a scan to take immediate action. Okay. So when you scan and you get results instantly, then you can know the stage at which you are and be able to take the necessary precaution. But if scan takes a week or more, and then whatever illness or occurrence is developing, then your chances of surviving become very, very minimal. With AI, we can do a scan in minutes or even seconds. After you take your scan, images go through the system, results come instantly. Then we can be able to speed up delivery in healthcare. Let's take agriculture, for example. Okay. Imagine having a smart agriculture where now you can know what plants to irrigate, supply fertilizer application, at which location, at which time. Then you can save so much water, so much money, so much fertilizer. Traditionally, if you want to spray your farm, once you identify some infestation, you spray the entire farm. As to whether they are infected or not, you have to. But with technology such as IoT, we can have sensors in the soil that can tell us the moisture content of our soil. So if the moisture content is dry, then you automate irrigation. If the moisture content is dry at a particular place, you just irrigate a place that, and we can go to the extent of making sure each plant get the needed, exact or precise needed water and fertilizer at the time of their growth. This can help minimize waste of the resources we incur during agricultural processes and help also increase productivity. So the application of these technologies, the possibilities are endless. Like, we just need to invest a lot into building the human resources. Then I believe when we develop the talents and we have the skills, then we can be able to start addressing all the problems that we see. Flooding could be addressed with IoT. Flood-prone area. Most people don't know that some of the areas they are going to stay are flood-prone till it started raining. Okay. If there's information on all our demography, align the places, and people can easily access it, it helps them make informed decisions, right? So there's a lot of things that I think these technologies can help us as a nation and continent if we can invest a lot into them.
Even land pollution.
from air, land pollution, and all that. With the research done, the reason why the world is moving so fast into these technologies is because they see potential to address most of our problems in the world today.
Okay.
If we're able to get, because we need data to make these decisions, and this data need to be processed. And we've been doing that manually. Being able to automate all this with intelligence and even predict before they happen can help us save a lot of money and resources, and also save lives, especially with healthcare. So I think, yes, as a nation, we need to be able to look at how we can be able to adopt these new technologies, build our capacity, and then have a roadmap as to what we intend to do with these technologies. Then together, I think we can make Africa a better place.
Great. Before Dr. Asante comes in, a quick one. Most humans argue that they are going to lose jobs if these things should be pushed to higher heights. What's your take?
Yes, I like to put it as a displace of work. So displace means that, okay, so let me give you a scenario. There was a time that if you want to go to the internet, you go to a cafe, and that was the only place you can get access to internet to go online. Now the smartphone distracted all this industry. What happened to them? Maybe they moved to mobile money or they moved to something else. So there's always going to be that processes where there's going to be a shift. Now what is happening is that all blue-collar jobs, these are factory jobs, are going to be automated. There's no doubt about it. Because they are adopting robots in assembling, and only few human beings, even Amazon and the big tech, they are using robots in their warehouses. So in the future, a lot of these are going to be automated. Let's take automobiles, for example. Uber is working on driverless car. Tesla is working. And almost all the automobile companies, that's their roadmap, that they, in the next 10, 20, 30 years to come, all their cars are going to be driving themselves. Now what happened to professional drivers, right? So yes, the landscape are changing, and I think that's why, most importantly, the youth need to understand what is happening, because by the time they are ready to work, most of the jobs they see might not still be there. But those who have their jobs, probably they might keep it for some time. Some might have to reskill or upskill, but we can't stop learning in our era today. Because if you stop upgrading yourself for 5 years, you become obsolete. So we always have to be in a constant position of always learning, upgrading, because new technologies are going to come up. Every single day, there's something new, and we need to always be on the around to be learning more. And I think that's the only way we can be able to stay relevant. And we need to also use our potentials, our talent, our gifts. Whatever you believe in gifts or talent. Because the difference between what AI can do and human can do is creativity, intuition, imagination. So our current AIs, they can't imagine yet, they can't be intuitive, but these are all human abilities that most of the times we don't use them, we ignore them, but it's about time we have to start looking at all the abilities we have within as human and then use them.
Great. Dr. Asante, over to you.
Great, Joshua. We can't stop learning. I am very happy with what I've seen today, what I've heard today, and I don't have any further questions for you, but I just want to tell you to continue in the path you've chosen. I just want to tell you to continue inspiring people, and I'm also very happy that it's something you've not just narrowed down to people in Ghana, but then you are also looking at other countries. I read your PDF and realized you had like 16 countries, but I think before the start of the program, you even said now it's like 20 countries here in Africa where you are looking at making the system very robust in all those countries. I just want to say thank you very much. I mean, thank you very much for the education you've given us today and the fact that you started something like this. And I'd also want to encourage you to keep the fire burning and get to make an impact in the lives of all other people you are meeting in your quest. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Great. Dr. Asante, I'm sure Ubuntu can partner. Tell us about Ubuntu and then your shout outs and then all of that.
Hopefully, this is something Ubuntu can be looking at in the near future. I mean, partnering with IoT, because this is something very huge, and this is something that also falls in line with the mission and vision of Ubuntu. Yeah, so basically, Ubuntu Foundation is a foundation that seeks to ameliorate the woes of people in the society by making the society receptive to productive ventures. So when it started in 2015, what we were looking at was helping people with the little we could, so the skills we had at the time. I mean, there were people who were students who wanted to help others in terms of tuition and all that. So we started basically as a consult that was helping people. Those days with SAT, people wanted to go and study abroad, people who had ideas and needed help with how to improve on their ideas and come out with something huge. We started with that, and I think recently we've expanded the education bit to help people here in local universities with entrance exams, test preparations for medical schools, pharmacy schools, and other schools here in Ghana. And I don't know whether you've seen the Ubuntu entrance exams prep flyers somewhere. That's what we're about. I mean, we've been doing that for like 5 years now. But then Ubuntu basically has 4 aspects of 4 branches. So there is the educational, there is the social media advocacy that was doing the Stay Home, Stay Safe campaign in 2020 for COVID. It was that same branch that was doing the Ubuntu for Peace 2020 election campaign. And then there is the active philanthropy. There is that also. And then there is also the leadership, which has been the leadership aspect, or the leadership branch, which we call the Probity Leadership Consult, which has been very active of late. If you heard of the Beyond the World Summit that was held in Legon last year, which saw people like Nana Kwame Bediakun, Ibrahim Mahama, CEO of Databank, and the likes coming to inspire hope in the younger generation by having this leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy summit. We intend to do one this year also at KNUST, and we are hopeful that we get people on board. I think after this, I would speak to Joshua. Joshua can come around and inspire people there about the opportunities in tech and the need for people to sign up to these tech startups and join in and effect that change we are all seeking to see in the near future. So if you'd want to contact Ubuntu Foundation, maybe your ward is going to the university, has to do an entrance exam, whatever Ubuntu is concerned about, you can contact our General Secretary, that's Akusia Sewa, on 050-669-9903 and 050-669-9903. You can also contact our projects manager, that's Frederick Osu, on 0544-483-244. And you can also follow me on social media, Instagram, Akana_official page. Akana is AKANA, then _official page. That's my social media handle on Instagram. But then you can also follow Ubuntu Foundation on Instagram, Ubuntu Foundation _ on Instagram, to know the projects we've done and what we hope to do in the near future. Yes, so basically, that's about the Ubuntu Foundation.
Great.
I hope I haven't taken much of the time.
That's fine. Any shout outs? Quick one. Any shout outs from you, Dr.
Oh.
One quick one. We move to Joshua.
Okay. Shout out to Akusewa doing a very wonderful job with the Ubuntu Foundation, and Provost Frederick Ousu also doing a very wonderful job with the Ubuntu Foundation, and also to all university students who subscribe to the Ubuntu Foundation in recent times, and to everyone out there who is working indefatigably to make a change in the lives of people. I want to shout out to all of them, and I'm hopeful that we can build the Ghana we are looking at as we move on our yellow brick road, trying to be the change we seek. Thank you.
Great. This is ỌDADEƐ Radio. ỌDADEƐ Radio shine the light, and this is the Science Digest show, the mystifying science. Science Digest show. Yam no fiko fiko. You can catch us on YouTube. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our content. Mr. Joshua, you've done so much today for us. Science Digest show is 3 years old. We started in 2020, May 2nd, and it's 3 years running, and we are pushing harder and further by the grace of God.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We have this gift for you, marking our 3rd year in a series. So this is for you. I hope you love it.
I do love it. Thank you so much.
Great. So your concluding words, your contact details, how people can reach you. The floor is yours.
All right. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invite.
Great.
To be on the show. It's my first time here, and then I like the work you're doing.
Thank you.
I believe that the gospel needs to be preached, and these are some of the platforms that it's required to preach the gospel. I would like to encourage every young person out there to join IoT Network Hub. It's an open community. It's free to join, and you can enjoy our programs also for free. We are online, iotnetworkhub.org. On the page website, you can have a group link there to our Telegram group. The STEM kit is also available for purchase. It's recommended for schools, parents, teachers. Our goal is to put a kid in every home, in every school. We are looking for people who would want to help us push our gospel. You can contact me on 054 888 9998. I repeat, 054 888 9998. It's also on WhatsApp. You can follow IoT Network Hub on social media, all social media, and STEM Aid Africa on all social media, and stemaid.com on STEM Aid website. Our goal is to ensure that every young person is not left behind in changing our continent. Thank you once again for the opportunity given.
Thank you. Any shout outs?
Shout out to my team. We have come really far. It's been a very long journey. A lot of sacrifices have been put in, and I really appreciate the team's effort. My IoT team, my co-founders from Personet IoT STEMaid, and to the IoT community, and to my supportive family, and to all my friends. We're just getting started.
Great. We're just getting started. If you want a Science Digest shirt, you can come to ỌDADEƐ Radio in Presec Legon, then make an order, or you can contact us on 054 859 3815. 054 859 3815. You can support us with any amount to keep the show running and pushing across the continent to the ends of the world. And happy birthday to Dr. Yusuf Yakubu. Thank you so much for all you do to Team Science Digest Show, #SDS. We are grateful for everybody for these 3 years and more. And thank you for joining us on this very edition. We catch you again next time. It's a goodbye for now. À la prochaine fois. We love you. Bye.